Okay,
Um,
so now I'm going to intrude again with a
yeah,
little provocative thing. And so when I look at those, the start of this run,
yeah,
I'll call out a couple of different things that I see, and you wrap me on the knuckles when I get it wrong, push back.
okay,
But one thing I see is the original version of the Hulk, which is very much that Jekyll Hyde,
yeah,
sort of dark, vengeful, brutal monster. Then I also see a little bit of the Hulk Bill Bixby movie, excuse me, TV series.
yeah,
Sort of forlorn. There's a sense of pain, and there's a sense of wandering. Um, and then I also see I get vestiges of sort of the Stephen King tonality. There's, and I mean that's more in the beginning of the run than later,
yeah.
but sort of like when you're starting off, there's a sense of atmosphere that feels Stephen King.
I mean, I wasn't going for Stephen King exactly.
Mhm.
I think I kind of started off because there was a very practical um, point to a lot of this in that I was very keen to avoid a thing that I'd done in the past, which was pointing back to previous issues. In that we kind of, we wanted to like not have a recap page in the first issue. We wanted to
Mm,
not have any editorial captions. We wanted to
mm,
sort of basically not give any readers any excuse to feel like they had to read another comic first.
that's brilliant.
And part of the kind of Bill Bixby like Bruce Banner's on the road was basically creating a status quo that we could build off that was instantly recognizable and accessible.
That's really
Um,
smart. Yep.
so that first trade or so, which is like small town stories,
Hmm.
um, and then later we start getting into the meat of it and the more,
Get bigger.
and then it kind of it like goes kind of more and more. It builds, but like that kind of first thing of like Bruce Banner on the road was very much kind of this is a thing you don't even really need explaining. It's
Hmm.
like Bruce Banner wandering. It's every episode of the TV show. It's like most of the films. It's how he starts in the Avengers movie. It's
Hmm.
how he starts in like the Incredible Hulk movie.
Hmm.
Um, it's a setup that readers know
Hmm.
without being told.
Yep.
Um, so there was that, and a lot of this was like desperately trying to avoid this thing because I knew I had a certain degree of bulletproofness because it's the Hulk. It's an A-lister, but at the
Hmm.
same time, um, and I wrote into the pitch things like, okay, here's where we can get off after 6 issues if we have to. Here's where we can get off after 12 issues if we have to. You know,
Hmm.
in this pitch, I'm gonna say what the first 15 issues look like,
Wow.
and then because like Hulk runs, it felt like at that point Hulk runs were like 18 issues long.
Wow.
So like getting to I think issue 41 is out next month.
Congratulations.
Getting to that is like and
It's
I mean
huge.
that's longer than any series I've done has ever got.
Yep. Yep.
Like
Well earned. It is.
and
First of all, I mean, such a staggering talent, but then beyond that, to have such a spectacular hit. I mean, it sort of did everything that is the miracles. You go through the arc of that first issue selling in, and I remember it sold well, and then you have your classic attrition, and then there was the classic reader buzz that was happening in my store, And I knew that it was happening because I could see it online, that the ripple effects were as fans were reading and having their minds blown. And, like I would go in each month, and when a new issue would come out, there would be a different person in the store would try to get me to read Immortal Hulk. And I'm like, no, 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 I'm reading it. But everyone's trying to recruit you onto the train. And the sales cycle hits that where, you start to see those bumps, and, the book starts to go up instead of go down. And then you have these incredible, around issue, no pun intended, around issue 15, 20, these huge, massive adoption curves hit. And, and it's because the book was everything that you wanted, so it is all earned. And it's such a fresh take. And I think you're right about it's difficult a lot of times with these marquee characters, is these things are mired in continuity, and it's hard to know where to start. And being able to have a place that's super clean that you can walk in and you don't have to worry about anything is like, it helps a lot.
I mean, that was kind of, and I was very lucky to get a point that was as clean as that, because you can't get much cleaner than the character has been dead and now he's back. It's like that's maybe the cleanest start you can get.
Yep.
And it's like to compare like compare like Guardians issue 1. I made that as clean a start as I could, but like the previous month, all of those characters had been, doing stuff, and
Yep.
it was like I had to kind of, I couldn't, I didn't have it in me to sort of pretend that they just sort of fallen out of the sky that day. So, I had to sort of make reference to like, oh yeah, these two characters are seeing each other, and this
Yep.
character is recovering from a serious like medical thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, even that was like, it's weird. It's kind of, I feel like I got very lucky in terms of catching the Hulk at an ideal point. Every so often, these, like you say, these marquee characters, every so often they kind of get these points in their continuity where like, if you have the right story at that moment, it'll go big.
Yeah.
And I guess, you can sort of manufacture that. You can sort of bring them to a point and then launch from there. But like, it's easier if it's organic. Like if for instance they've been killed,
Yeah.
and then resurrected.
Well,
And
I also
you have to have a story that ties in with that very neatly. Then that's good.